Hi, welcome. I'm Deb Szabo. I'm a marketing strategist and video coach. And in this session today, I want to share with you on ways how you can boost your online visibility and establish business growth, especially coming into the new year. This is one of the things that I know as a marketing strategist, we would sit down in business normally around September and start to plan out the year, the following year. And often at that stage, I would also have an 18-month plan in place. Many of us don't work that far in advance, and that's okay because now it's November, we're coming into December, and before we know it, we're winding down for the holidays. And the last thing we want to do is come into January not having a plan with our business. So that is why I am all about looking at what are our business goals for 2025 and what are our marketing goals. And then, of course, what are our content goals of how we're going to achieve that. So what I wanted to do is walk you through some ways on how you can focus on your business growth for next year and start your planning now. So when it comes to growing your business, there are different ways that we can do that. But I always start with what are the fundamentals in marketing? What are the fundamentals that we've got to do to get our audience engaged and then build our audience into a community, into more than just followers? We want to build that audience into a community and super fans. And how we do that is through showing up consistently online these days. Digital marketing is where everything is at. And there's many different ways that we can promote our business for free. And that's what I want to show you today, are the ways that you can actually promote your business for free. And I want to just get started with when we actually do promote our business, of some ways on how you can do it. So anyone that doesn't know me, I'm Deb Szabo. I'm a marketing strategist. I've been in marketing for probably about 3 decades now. I know I'm showing my age, but I'm also a bit of a tech geek, and that is what turned me into a video coach now, because I saw in business the dramatic impact that using video in our business can have to turn a business around, build an audience, a captive audience, and establish real, true, visible growth in business. So that is why that's why I studied video, and I still do every day. There's so much that happens in the digital world, so it's always about staying up to date with everything. Now, I wanted to share with you somebody that I follow, Gary Vaynerchuk. He is all about creating content to tell people who we are and what we do, and he talks about the biggest thing that you can do is you need to make as much content as possible. And he's a big advocate for it. And sometimes even when I watch it, I'm like, oh, wow, how do we do all of those things? And what he talks about as well is that if we're not putting relevant content in relevant places, then we don't exist. And that always comes back down to what I say as well. It's not who has the best product. It's all about who talks the loudest and who is visible. And so for me, you can have, and I've seen so many businesses over the years have incredible, products, services, but they're not telling people about it. And that was really why I established Content Catalyst, which is my membership program, because I wanted to help people share their story, because there's too many amazing people out there that can do amazing things as a ripple effect to help other people. So I wanted to be able to help people do that. Now, these are some of the ways that you can promote your business for free. Content marketing is a really powerful way that we can leverage free promotion to be able to, just like Gary Vaynerchuk just said, is create connection with our audiences and get seen in the right places. So when it comes to that, we often think of social media. That is probably one of the biggest things that we, of course, think about with being able to promote our business. Social media is definitely such a big way that we can promote our business. And, it comes down to having it at our fingertips as well. Podcasting's become really, really popular. And I've got a podcast and I love my podcast. And I feel that I've got a background in radio, so I knew the power of being able to connect with long form content. And this is what we're talking about here today, is the difference between short form content, which is social media in many of the cases, and then long form content, content. So things like podcasts and blogs and YouTube videos are long form content. And when it comes to actually getting discovered online, what you'll find is the way that we search information these days is changing rapidly because of AI. Now, Google has been the king of search engines for such a long time. We've made a saying out of it: I'll just Google it. But now, how we're searching things really comes down to, and I'm reaching for my phone here, is because how we search nowadays is using ChatGPT, and I use Perplexity AI, and I can literally go in and I can ask it to basically give me whatever information that I'm looking up. I don't Google anything these days. I'm just literally pressing on the button, speaking into the phone, and going, "Can you tell me the best itinerary for wine tasting in Croatia?" Which is a conversation I had with someone last night, and give me a bike riding itinerary along the trail as well. It's changed so much, and it will continue to change and evolve so much with what's happening. So it's important that we recognize how people are finding the information that they're searching for. So things like Search GPT, Chat GPT, Perplexity AI, these programs are all scraping the internet looking for the answers to your question. And how we get discovered is generally in long form content, because it is longer in what we share, as opposed to a single image on a Canva tile on Instagram. There's not a lot of information that can be pulled from that compared to, say, a blog or a YouTube video or a podcast. So this is why it's important to have a good breadth of content of how we talk to our audience. So then we've got our emails, articles, booklets. I've just done a booklet for somebody now. Booklets are a great way to share information, especially if you've got a product. And this is all information that once you have it, you can then drive an audience to the booklet to educate them more, and you can embed it on your website. So there's so many different ways on how we can promote our business for free. The biggest thing that I hear from people is, knowing all of that, is who has time for this? This is whoops. Who has time for being able to promote our business? And then, of course, the other thing is I'm so confused about how to use everything. So when it comes to being able to promote our business online, what we do need is a workflow, because at the end of the day, we're busy running our business, and we don't have, and it's the number one thing I hear from people: I don't have time. I don't have time to make content. And often it's, we haven't prioritized time. I know myself that when I've got my, my case is full of things, the first thing that'll get pushed back is my long form content, for example, because it does take that little bit extra time. But what I want to share with you is how we can create content smarter. And when it comes to long form content, I am a massive fan of working smarter, not harder. So when you create one hero video, you can turn that one hero video, and that's long form content, and you can distribute it across so many different platforms, and we can have our audience, we can reach a wider audience because of it. So if we take one hero video, how do we do that? Well, we want to create quality content, because that's the other question I get asked is it quality, Deb, or is it quantity? And I'm going to say it's both. But we need to work smarter in our workflow on how we do that, because when we have one hero video, you just don't want to ramble on about anything. You want to have a strategic video that works with the questions that your audience is asking and the service or products that you offer. So we want to look at how we research and put together the information so that quality piece of video gets it reaches and helps the right people. So when we look at that, we want to then be able to push it out to, say, YouTube. YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world, and with over 2 billion viewers a day. So what we need to look at is how can we leverage YouTube, and that's very much my strategy at the moment, is making a quality piece of content to put on YouTube, and then being able to redistribute again. So once I've created my video, I can then put that onto YouTube. I can then take the audio and I can put that onto my podcast. I can then take the transcription of my video and I can write a blog, and then I can send out an email to my newsletter to say, hey, this is what's just dropped. And I can push that out to LinkedIn. I can put a post up and I can actually share my blog over to my newsletter on LinkedIn. And then I can create short form content. So over here, we've got our short form content. So we can go over and make an Instagram story to say, hey, I've just dropped this video or podcast. And then I can make a story, I can make a post, I can make a live, and I can make a carousel, and I can make a reel. So that's 5 bits of short form content from that one hero video topic that we're talking about. Again, I can go over to Facebook and then redistribute that again. So far we're up to 5 pieces here, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then we've got again those 5 methods on Facebook. So we're already up to 15, and then we haven't even hit TikTok, which is again, you can put carousels and videos up there as well. Pinterest, Pinterest is another good place that I'm even doubling down on at the moment, where I can put my lead magnets, and then you've got articles. But how do we do that without losing our mind? Because that looks like a lot of work even there, right? So that is one of the biggest things why I'm like, we need to work smarter, not harder on this. Now, the other thing that I want to talk about is the business life cycle, because when we are in different phases of our business, we need to have different messaging. So if we go back to what that hero video is, we need to be thinking about what stage of our business cycle are we at. Are we in a startup phase? Because we have to think about different styles of content than if we're in a stage of maturity. And of course, if we're then in a decline part of our business, then we need to look at rejuvenating it and renewing our business. So our strategy is going to be a lot different as we move through each part of our business growth. The biggest thing I also hear is audience and messaging. This is probably one of the biggest things that many people struggle with that I come across, is that we need to understand who our ideal buyer is and who our target audience is. And once we nail that, then we start to get really specific with our messaging. And messaging is probably the next part that a lot of people struggle with, because often we think really top level when we're talking about things, and what we need to do is really understand our audience and create those real life scenarios of what they're thinking and feeling. So when it comes to being able to create a hero video and being able to distribute it across different platforms, what we need is a content marketing strategy. So we have strategic information getting shared. And if we have strategic information being shared, then you can work smarter, not harder. And again, coming back to our business life cycle, depending on where you are, you're going to have different stages of awareness as well. So again, if you've got a product or a service, you need, and especially when you're in startup phase, you need to build your brand awareness. We want to create connection with our audience. So we want to build our followers, but then we want to turn those followers into a community. So you don't need 1 million followers in order to get sales. What you need is the right audience with the right message, so you can actually create a nice community that engages with your content. Because at the end of the day, there's no point in creating all this content if no one's engaging in it and it's not developing any loyalty and leads. So loyalty comes from, even though you might have your target audience, they might not be in the market for what you have at that particular time. But if they know what you do and you're top of mind and you're relevant, then when somebody needs what you have, they're going to be your biggest raving fan. And I've got people in my circle that anytime somebody asks, and you see this in Facebook group communities, is that they'll ask a question, hey, do you know anyone that does this? And it's like, yeah, Deb's the person. That's where we want to create a really loyal, engaged audience, because when it comes to, there's nothing better than word of mouth advertising. And word of mouth advertising happens when people understand and have clarity what we do. And that might have come from a firsthand experience, or it might just be having an awareness of who you are. And that's why having a good personal brand really helps us to develop those relationships. A personal brand, and I had this discussion today in one of my coaching groups, is, Deb, should I do my website under my business brand or my personal brand? And I always come back to the cheapest and quickest way to build your business brand is to build your personal brand. Now, again, if you were changing industries, you have a much better chance of success if you've already got established personal brand. So when we do that, how do we build a good personal brand? Well, I'm going to say there are ways on how we do that right now, and that's using video. Apart from standing in front of somebody, there is no better way to connect with your audience than using talking head, face to camera video, because it's the best way that people can get to know you apart from standing in front of someone. Now, talking about circling back to going, oh my God, Deb, how do we do all of those things, turn that one video into all that content marketing? Well, the simple answer is we want to create a smart strategic video that answers specific questions that our audience is asking, so we're discovered. And then we want to use AI to shortcut that workflow. Because if we can use AI to shortcut that workflow, we are going to get so much more done. Now, after I get off this call, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to put my podcast, my video podcast together, and then I'm going to go and get it done. Now, generally, I can turn that around in 3 hours. So if I'm creating one hero video in that time and I can batch up my videos, I can create 4 videos a month, and I can do that in a day. Sometimes it takes 2 days, because at the end of, you might want to spend the day researching and writing out your outline and researching your hook and your titles and your thumbnails for everything, and then do a recording day the next day. It's good to break it up, I find, for myself as well. In saying that, I often just work week to week when I record my one hero video, because that's just how my brain works. Except if I'm doing work with clients, then I do batch up days. So, how do we get a good content marketing strategy that helps us to deliver that one hero video, that strategic video, and create content from there that connects with our audience? And then when we connect with our audience, we want to convert that audience into actual sales, into buyers. So having a content marketing strategy is how we do that. Now, I have created Content Catalyst Blueprint, which is a program that you can do at a self-pace that allows you to actually go through each of those steps. Now, there are 3 essential steps when you are creating a content marketing strategy. And I want to break that down, because even if you're doing this yourself, then you need to understand the essential elements, because without these essential elements, you're going to miss the steps and you're going to miss out on creating content that can actually connect. Okay, so let's hit it up. What we want to do is start with our core. Our core is our foundation. Our core is our foundation of what we want to talk about. So our core has to start with our goals. Many people create content and they don't align it with their business goals, and they're just throwing content out there because somebody said they have to post on Instagram every day, and they go over to Canva and they do a Canva tile and they put stuff out there, but there's no personality, there's no strategy behind it. And if your business goal is to have a certain revenue goal, have a certain business goal. Let's say you want to, have a location or give up your 9-to-5 job or whatever that is, or earn, $100,000 a year, whatever your business goal is, then it has to align with your content goals. Now, there is one step in between that. So you've got your business goal, and then you need your marketing goal, and then you need your content marketing goal. So what does that look like for somebody? So if I was a coach, for example, and my goal for myself is I have a membership that I offer, which is Content Catalyst, and I want to grow my membership with members, then my business goal, it might be I want to get 50 members this year. So if I want to get 50 members, I have to look at what are the activities I have to do in order to achieve that. So my marketing goals is I have to grow my email list, I have to grow my audience, and I have to be doing a lot more in person. I have to build my credibility, and I have to position myself as an expert in the industry. So therefore, I might want to do some more some keynote speaking. So that's my marketing goal. But then my content goal is to do that. I am focusing on long form content with YouTube because I want to increase my discoverability. And therefore, I want to get to the point where I've got 1,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel. And therefore, I can build my audience from there. So that might be one of them. My other goal might be to consistently, put out content each week, a quality piece of long form content each week. My other goal might be to build a community with my course. So these are all the content marketing goals that I want to build. Okay, so then we look at our audience. My audience is one of the most important things, because if we don't dial in who our audience is and we don't talk directly to them, we need to understand, what are they thinking, what are they feeling, what are their pain points, what are their motivations, what keeps them up at night, and what do they do. So talking with people when I go through this exercise, they're like, oh, my market is this person, and they might procrastinate. I'm like, what does procrastination look like? Let's dive into that, because it's very top level language, and often, especially if you've done a uni degree or anything, we're often very conditioned, I guess, to write in a particular way, but that doesn't always resonate. So what we need to do is use real life scenarios, real life language, and demonstrate that in how we come across in our messaging. So audience, I always look at two parts with our audience. We have our avatar, which is that one person, but then we have our cohort, which is a group of people. So we start with our group of people. So if my audience might be women that live in Sydney, that is aged between 35 and 55, that are, business owners, and then that's my cohort. So think of it like this. If you walked into an auditorium full of your ideal people that you were presenting to on stage, every one of those people is a potential buyer. They all have that same need. That's your cohort. Then we look at our avatar. Well, that's basically getting someone out of the audience, and getting them up on stage and having a conversation with them, and we profile them. And the reason why I like to do this is because, again, I want to build a community, and when I understand that one person, then I can speak directly to them. And I've had this conversation with people over the last week, and especially a lot of women, is that it's harder for women over a certain age to get up and talk on camera. And it can be quite intimidating, and there's a lot to think about. It's like our hair and makeup done, and if I compare that to, say, a 25-year-old bloke that can turn up in a hoodie and a hat and do your thing in your presentation like a lot of guys do, you do you, boo. But for women, it takes a different mindset, and we have to consider that when we are talking on camera. And that is why it's so important to think about that one person, because when you are looking, and I'm looking at the lens right now, and I'm thinking of that one person who is my ideal person, my avatar, because if I'm just having a chat with you, then it just makes it more approachable and more relatable. And the other thing that I hear a lot as well is with women, like, I'm over 50, and it's like, yes, we look at our hair and our makeup and our gray hairs and what we look like, and that's fine, because that's who we are, and we want to give our best version. But it should never stop us from actually turning up and telling our story either. So that's where we want to work through those things, and having that one person in mind, that purpose. What's our purpose? That's what we want to get to. Messaging. So we really want to dial in our messaging. When you understand your messaging, this is not just for your content for social media. This is for all of your content. We are inside Content Catalyst membership. We are reviewing our website this month. And of course, in this, I had all the messaging from these two lessons, exercises, and we were able to write our whole website copy because of it. Keywords. Now, this is really, really important. Keywords is all about discoverability because, as I mentioned before, with the way the search engines are changing, we need to have our keywords dialed in so we have optimum search discoverability online. So our SEO, for example. So this is really important, and that is the core. That's step one. The next step that we need to look at is our content. So our content is what we turn up on camera with. It is what we it's everything that we talk about. It's everything that we where we are. All right, so let's look at brand. Brand is all about, yes, it's your color and your fonts and your logo and everything, but it's so much more than that, and especially if we're talking about a personal brand. Your personal brand is about your signature look. What makes you recognizable and memorable? What makes you stand out when there's 10 people doing the same thing lined up? What makes you different? What's your unique selling point? What's your niche? What makes you special? That's what our brand vibe identifies. And then we need to look at our platforms. What platforms do we need to be doing, and are they optimized? Then we need to measure out, because what we measure grows. And then the most important part of all of this, well, it's not necessarily, but they're all important. But when we get to our topics, these are the content categories, the themes, the topics that we want to, our content pillars, if you want to call it that, our content buckets, whatever you want to relate it to. But these are our topics that we talk about based on our audience's problems and their aspirations and how we help them. So that is an exercise that you go through. And then when you have that done, you will have content for the whole year. You can plan out a whole year's worth of content when you nail this particular part. All right, so once we have our content nailed down, then we need to look at the creation side of things. So our creation side of things comes down to, we have to have a planner. We want to know what we want to know coming into the month what we're actually focused on, because that will affect our lead magnet that we're offering. So we want to start with our lead magnet. What is the free offering resource that we have that you can give to people, to give them a sample of what you do? And when you give them a sample of what you do, then you have the opportunity to build a relationship and a community with them from there. So we want to map out our plan. I know coming into this month and next month and every other month what exactly I am doing as my hero topic. And then I look at the 4 questions that our audience is asking, and that becomes my weekly topic. Then we want to be able to schedule out our content. So that's about automation. So we want to, again, have that simplicity with our schedule so we can automate our content, batch our content, and automate it. Then we get to one of the most important parts of when we create content, because it takes time to create content, and we don't want it to just be done one and done in 5 minutes, and that's as far as it goes. We want longevity with our content, and that's why we want to have a smart plan to repurpose our content. Now, I have a checklist to be able to take that one video and repurpose it into, like I said, 15 different pieces of content marketing. And that checklist is for you and your team. So if you have a team, you know what you turn up for, and then you also know what your team needs to do, and you can get a progress update with it, and that comes down to manage. So I actually have put together a Trello board, and our Trello board enables us to have our checklist in here. And this is an example of that. There's a checklist where you can come in and go, yes, I've done that. Yes, I've done that. That needs to be done by that time, and that needs to be done by that person. So you can allocate those jobs in there, and all of those templates in there. You can see a calendar by week and by month, and it's all in there for you to see and delegate things to. Because if you know what you're doing each week, then it makes it easier for you to plan out. So when it comes to being able to create a content marketing plan, there are different types of videos that you want to look at that attract new people, connect with your followers, and convert them into buyers. And you also need to look at your long form strategy and your short form strategy, so you have a beautiful ecosystem that works smart and doesn't wear you out and burn you out as a business owner. Because if you I think that's the biggest thing, is it's so easy to get burned out. Now, the other thing I want to talk about as well is advertising. I know a lot of us go and we're just going to put out some Facebook ads, and I am 100% behind you as far as an advertising campaign goes. And, I work with Facebook ad specialists all the time with lead generation campaigns. One of the things that they talk to me about, and we have these conversations, is that when you have a good foundation of organic content, it becomes so incredibly impactful when you put ad spend behind it. So you want to get good quality content that when you do put ads, you're running smart ads that generate leads, that generate sales. And that's why we want to transform your marketing from what you're doing now. And I deal with this with people. They're like, but Deb, I'm actually, doing blogs. I'm doing a podcast. I'm showing up on Instagram. I've got my stuff thing, but there's no ecosystem and smart system for you to work efficiently and maximize your content that you have. Because at the end of the day, we can reach our audience with our finger, our face, and our phone, but we have to know the system to do that. That is the reason why I created Content Catalyst Blueprint. It's an online program where you get all of those 3 essential steps to creating a content marketing strategy. It's called Content Catalyst Blueprint. I developed this for my members when they originally started with me. And then I started to do one-to-one sessions with people. And I wanted a toolbox, a resource of toolbox for my members and clients, doing the blueprint, giving them a strategy. So what I've done is actually now, for those that don't want to work one-to-one with me, is have a really easy, really approachable program that you can actually get all the tools that you need, including the online course. Now, the course isn't designed to go for weeks and weeks and weeks. It's designed for you to do over a weekend. I've made it so simple and so easy. The blueprint I do in person in a day. I do an intensive in-person day. If you were doing it yourself, allocate the weekend to go through it. But otherwise, if you don't have that time to spend and block out 2 days back to back, then you can do a little bit each day. Now, what I am doing at the moment is doing one-to-one sessions, momentum sessions with people that are doing the blueprint with me. I did one today and I've got another one next week, and we work through each module and we go through each module and give you feedback on that. So I do have an offer at the moment for Black Friday, and that is you can get over $1,500 in value of the program itself. So what does that look like? Well, the program itself there are 4 bonuses in this program. So you get the online course with all those 3 essential steps, and then you also get the Black Friday bundle. So the Black Friday bundle includes weekly live coaching calls, and our next one is next week for November, and where we work through each module. The next one is you get custom AI prompts, where you can set up an AI assistant. And let me tell you, when you set up this AI assistant, it it makes life so easy. I can take that one video transcription and make all of that magic happen, like I showed you in the checklist. And I can turn that around in researching, filming, and editing and distributing in about 3 hours. That's how easy it is when you have the system down pat. But you need those the custom prompts to help you automate those tasks. Now, I've spent quite a bit of time fine-tuning the prompts, because AI, whether it's ChatGPT, I use Perplexity AI, is only ever as good as the prompts that you are putting into the machines, into the AI programs. So having the right prompts is what I've created, and that's why you will get an AI assistant training with that as well. So that's bonus number 2. Bonus number 3 is that you get a content audit report. So you will get an optimization report. I'm going to go through your content as it is now. I'm going to give you a report with feedback on it, and you will get that, so you know where you can level up each of those areas that you have the potential to maximize and optimize. All right, the last one, and this is probably one of the most valuable ones, is a one-to-one session with me. to do a tech check. What does that mean? Is that I'm going to go through your tech, and that could be your program software that you're using now. So, again, these are questions that I get asked all the time of what editing software should I use? What recording software? How do I use it? I'm stuck here. So, I'll get you unstuck. I'll help you set up your tech so you've got a great tech flow. And then I'll also help you set up your recording environment as well. So, you're getting the best quality content recorded that makes it better for you to repurpose as well. I should also mention there as well is that when I create that one long form content, I actually then, with one click of a button, can turn that one video into 20 short clips as well. And it's again about working smarter, not harder. So that is the Black Friday bundle that I have going at the moment. If you want to jump onto that, then jump in now, because the one-to-one sessions especially are filling up at the moment. So if you want yours done sooner rather than later, then you need to. All right. So if you are interested in getting a content marketing strategy for your business, then get the blueprint now while I have the Black Friday offer going. So you get the online course program. There are 3 modules, those 3 essential modules in there, and they're designed to get through over a weekend. You can allocate this weekend to do it. And then I've got those live momentum calls, and this is where the gold lies. If you want to, I can't tell you how many courses I've bought, and I've watched the first few modules and I never go back to it. That this is why I've created the program specifically for people like me, so you actually get it done. The reason is because when you get this done, this is the fundamentals for all of your content, whether it's your website copy, whether it's all of your marketing of what you do and how you do it for the future. So it is one of the best investments that you will make. And like I said, there's that 60% saving bonus now. So if you want to know more about anything, feel free to connect with me, and I'd love to jump on a chat with you and go through what are your challenges. Let me know in the comments. What do you struggle with as far as creating content? Is it the time? Is it knowing what to write? Is it getting the automation set up? Is it using video? What are the key things that you struggle with? Having an ecosystem so you're working smarter, not harder, and having a workflow that you have that one hero video and be able to turn that into all those beautiful pieces of gold content, because it takes time to create content. 100%. That research factor, I put more effort into that research factor, understanding my audience's problems and making sure that I'm answering those specific questions than I do in any part of it, even the editing. So this is all about working smarter, not harder. Now, for anyone that is a Content Catalyst member, so my membership, where I have a masterclass and 2 workrooms a month, including an editing workroom, those members get the blueprint included in their membership. So if you thought, actually, Deb, I've been thinking about joining Content Catalyst membership for a while, and I've been sitting on the fence, well, now's the time to jump in because you can get the blueprint inside Content Catalyst membership now as well, and get the ongoing support, because at the end of the day, marketing our business, it's a journey, it's not a destination. And I focus on getting all the latest information up to date that I can share with you, because digital marketing does move at a rapid pace and it changes. As I mentioned, I've got Perplexity AI that I absolutely love, but I'm now got another program that has come up on my horizon that I'm like, cool, I'm going to go and check that out. And so what I do is I test all these programs. I work out what is viable to use, what's cost effective to use, what's simple to use, and I give that back to you so you don't have to figure it out for yourself. All right, well, that's all from me. Thank you so much for your time. If you've got any questions, please let me know in the comments. Otherwise, I'm Deb Szabo, and have a great day. Bye.